Hey, it's Cheryl. Welcome back to my channel if you've been subscribed here for a while. If you're new here, obviously, my name's Cheryl Woodhouse. I'm a mentor to neurodivergent freelancers, done-for-you service providers, and audience-based business owners and creators. And I'm doing a series right now where I'm actually taking some of the questions that some of you have asked me in my group. If you want to ask your own questions, the group is actually in the description below, so make sure you click over and join. With some of the questions you've asked me in my group, and I'm answering them for you here in video form, and we're trying to see how many days in a row we can actually get going. And this question I couldn't resist answering right now because it's very related to obviously what I'm doing here. And so I wanted to answer this question. It came from one of our members named Michelle. She asked me, how consistent do you have to be with creating content online? And this has been probably my number one struggle my entire life, being consistent with anything, really. I mean, that's not really a shock. ADHD. However, what I've found is that when people ask this question, or when people are trying to figure this out, or when they've been getting business advice from neurotypical mentors, coaches, consultants, things like that, what have you, they're typically asking, what's the frequency with which I need to post content, and how much do I have to actually stick with that frequency to become successful? Rather than just asking how consistent they have to be with it. Defining consistency, as it's usually touted, be consistent in your posting, is really, really actually important here because it's defining what we're talking about. So in this case, what is the frequency that you need to be posting content online? There isn't one. There's no magic formula. There is nothing that I have figured out that tells you should post once a week, once a day, twice an hour. There is not a magic frequency, certainly not across all platforms, and then definitely not for each individual platform. It tends to vary per person, realistically, like per person, per platform. It's different for each person. But it's also nearly impossible for neurodivergent people like me to actually achieve, to stick with a posting frequency like once a day, once a week, once a month. None of those things actually ever happen if that's what we set out to do, okay? What I have found to be actually helpful is to do two things when creating content online primarily, okay? So one, be consistent in your messaging. Be consistent in what you talk about. Be consistent in who you talk to. You don't have to have a niche necessarily. Your niche could be just the unique combination of skills and experiences that you have and bring to the table. But being consistent in communicating about that and in sharing your whole self, like I do here, apparently with my weird hair and my unkempt office today, I'm sharing my whole self, and I'm consistent in doing that. I'm consistent in this level of authenticity. I'm consistent in sharing content with neurodivergent people like you who are trying to build a business, whether you're offering services, or now I'm also offering some mentorship and advisory to people who are creating an audience for themselves, because that's something that I have now done, not to the multi-million-dollar celebrity business level extent, but definitely to the level where I am supporting myself and supporting my family on what we've created. We've done a 6-figure creator business in around 1 year, and I've done it all in very neurodivergent friendly ways by being consistent in my messaging, consistent in who I talk to, and consistent in what I talk about. Within that large topic of neurodivergent business advice, I am all over the map in terms of the frequency of my posting, in terms of the platforms that I'm sharing on, and in terms of the way that I'm talking about things. But I consistently stick to being authentic, being myself, and sharing my content, and being consistently me, talking consistently to the same groups of people, okay? So once we have the consistency down, the second principle is a little bit different. We're not talking about consistency of your frequency. We're actually talking about persistence. Persistence is a lot more important than consistency, okay? You do not need to post every Tuesday for the rest of your entire life to actually become successful on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or whatever platform you're choosing to monetize. What you need to do is, when you set a frequency and you inevitably drop the ball and don't continue with it, come back. Come back when you're ready. Come back anyway. Give yourself permission to walk away and come back and not be consistent in your frequency, but be persistent. Don't give up. Don't walk away. Don't say, I didn't post a video this Tuesday. I'm never going to post one again. What's the point? Because I didn't keep up with my consistent frequency. Okay? Especially for us, persistence is more important than frequency and consistency. Okay? That's what I have found in my experience with my brain, with my life, and with a lot of the other mentors that I talk to in this space as well. Persistence over consistency every time. Now, what is actually going on when people are saying, hey, how consistent do I need to be with my content, is they're trying to figure out what's the formula. Like, how do I actually grow an audience on social media? How do I grow an audience in these spaces? How can I build a business that serves me, that serves my family, that serves the community that I want to serve, that allows me to grow in the ways that I want to grow? And how can I do that using content? And the most common advice for achieving the consistent frequency and growing and scaling on social media is to batch content. And I hate that advice. I hate that advice for neurodivergent people. I have spent literal hours upon hours upon hours planning and scheduling and ideating out entire months worth of content and posting for Facebook, for Instagram. I have recorded dozens of TikToks that are sitting here on my phone unpublished. I have recorded probably about half a dozen YouTube videos that were search engine optimized, scripted, and then recorded, but never edited and never uploaded. And the reason that I do that is because batched content never works for me, okay? When I batch my content, one, by the time I go to post it, it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel engaging. It feels forced, and it really doesn't carry the message that I want to be carrying at that point 99% of the time. It makes me hold back from talking about what I want to talk about in that moment because usually I'm feeling inspired about something else. It also tends to fall flat, in part because it feels uninspired and forced when I'm doing it. Okay. Now, if you can batch content ahead of time and it doesn't feel uninspired and forced, that's amazing. It never feels uninspired and forced when I'm creating it. I always feel inspired when I'm creating it. But by the time I get to post it, it just doesn't feel like it anymore. For me and my brain, I need to get an idea out into the world. And once I've created the content, that's me getting it out into the world. And I no longer need to share that again later, have those conversations later. They just aren't as engaging anymore. So what I do is I actually allow myself to be wildly inconsistent, and I create content when I'm inspired to do so. That's it. I do not pre-batch content. I do not pre-plan content. I will tell myself, okay, I'm running a promotion over this specific period of time. I'm going to offer this bonus. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to push this one particular thing right now. So a lot of my content is going to center around that. Great. I'll map that out for kind of the week, the general things that I want to promote in the content, but how I promote it, what I say, the copy that I create on social media and how I engage people, I will literally sit down when I feel inspired in my day, interrupt what I'm doing, and write out a post on my phone or write out a post right there on my laptop and put the CTA at the end and send it. Just like I'm doing now with this video, where I waited until I felt inspired, looked through the list and went, you know what? I need to answer this question. And I created this video. And after I create this video, I'm going to upload it and I'm going to tell you about it. And then I'm going to go on with the rest of my day. Is this the most polished channel on YouTube? Heck no. Is this the biggest audience on YouTube? Do I have 100,000 subscribers? Is there background noise and background mess and things that are bothering you while you're listening to this? Probably. But am I getting it out there? Am I getting it done? Am I doing more right now with my content than someone who's trying to batch it out and get it perfect? Absolutely. And I'm getting more content out there and I'm getting more engagement and it's feeling more inspired and better to me than it ever was when I was trying to batch out content and schedule it ahead of time to be consistent. So, in a nutshell, that's my wisdom. Post whenever you feel like it. Don't give up and keep coming back, and consistently talk to the same people about the same things, and you'll have a lot more success than if you sit there and try and batch out your content and post every Wednesday. Okay? Make sure you check out all the links in the description, because again, if you want to ask a question, the group is in the description down below. I've also got a free quiz to see what your neurodivergent entrepreneur archetype is, which is really, really fun. I love quizzes. I'm sure you do too. And that will also get you on my email list. So next time I do free events, workshops, anything else that you might want to participate in, you'll be the first to know. Thanks so much for watching.